So, do you want the good news or the bad news? Or the I'm not sure news? Or just the news? Who's ready to go see what kind of mischief we can get into today? Welcome back, everybody. It is old medium-ish, big-ish Mike back out here in the Hoopty Barn with the Green Goblin, our old 72 Dodge Charger, and news and updates. Well, we got everything finally wired in and all that. We got all our plug wires in, got all the ignition squared away, got to where she'll turn over from the key. Of course, I fixed that leak that we had in the fuel system, and you know, she's looking pretty good. I mean, she's getting real close. Got all her gauges in, all that stuff, and I know you guys want to hear it crank over, so I'm going to connect the battery and hop in here. Well, my hopper ain't hopping. All right, we'll climb in here. So, all right. You get to see and hear from inside. Give her a little bit of fuel. Well, hold on here. Woo, that's loud. Fantastic. But now for the other part of the news is I ran into another issue. Now when I was down at Joe's, that's just Mopar Joe, for those of you who hadn't been following along. If you ain't following along with just Mopar Joe, then, well, I don't know why you even watch YouTube. But anyway, so we were down there and we got this thing all set up. Got transmission in here and all that, and it was doing just fine. And it was shifting and all that. Well, then I get all this hooked up and my shift linkage wants to bind up in there, and I don't know what is hanging it up in there. Now, I can shove it all the way down to low, you know, but when I'm trying to do it with the handle, it don't want to do it. And I can just barely manipulate it, and it's got something binding it up in there. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going to drop this pan and see what we got to do to see what's going on with that. And worst case scenario, if I have to, which I hope I don't have to, but if I have to, I recently purchased another transmission here, and it shifts out like it's supposed to. Everything works on it like it's supposed to. It's guaranteed to work, you know. That's what he said. So, anyway, we're going to get under there. We're going to pull that pan. Probably have to pull the valve body, which I'm not familiar with doing that stuff because I told you I'm not a mechanic. So, I'm going to get in there and see what I can do. So I'm gonna say I probably needed to pull that janky old thing down anyway and actually put a gasket on properly. I did not do that. No, that was not Big Mike. Need to clean all that stuff off. But anyway, she's off of there. I didn't see anything, like nothing fell down that I saw when I poured out the pan, and I didn't find anything in the bottom of the pan whenever I went through it. Oop. But anyway, so I'm gonna take this off, I suppose, and see if we can figure anything out. He told me this thing was rebuilt right before I got it. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but anyway. Alright, so I have told y'all and told y'all and told y'all that I am not a mechanic. And now I can prove it. So, when I first started having these troubles, I spoke to Mopar Joe. I spoke to a Mr. Rodney Bird. I spoke to a Mr. John Wilburn. And, you know, they were all confused and said, well, that doesn't make any sense. And I said, well, it obviously doesn't make any sense to me why it wouldn't want to shift and all that. And so let's go under here, and I'm gonna just talk to you a little bit about what I've figured out. Okay, so as I'm not a mechanic, they told me to loosen the valve body, take the valve body out, all that. I was like, well, it's still connected over here on this side. I didn't take apart any linkage or any of that off of, you know, I mean, I had this off, but I didn't take the linkage off the top of that. And I went in and watched a video on how to disassemble this. And one of the things they said was, you know, you pull out your neutral safety switch and all that and pull your linkage off. And well, when I pulled my little neutral safety switch, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try this. And lo and behold, when I pulled that neutral safety switch out of there, I mean, I put some bolts back in here so this part's tight up there like it's supposed to be. But when I pulled that neutral safety switch out, let me get up here, I noticed that it shifted like it was supposed to. And it was very odd, I thought. And so I come in here, I thought, well, I'm just going to hook up the linkage and try it. So now, reverse, neutral, stops at drive like it's supposed to, drive, second, low, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then, I mean, everything works. It works like it's supposed to from up here. So, could it be that my neutral safety switch was impeding the shift in there? Because, let me put this in neutral real quick, and I'll crawl back under. Yeah. Okay, neutral. So, yeah, from under here, I mean, it just shifts just fine. And with this rod off, let me pull this pin. I mean, it'll shift just like it's supposed to. Nice and smooth. I mean, it locks in park because of that park lever in there, but get neutral, reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. It shifts just fine now. So Only thing I could think is that for whatever reason, this dude was impeding the shift. Maybe I need to put like an extra O-ring on here. I don't know. But that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to put an extra O-ring on there. I'm going to put it back in there and see if it still shifts proper. And if it does, I want to put this dude back together and put some new fluid in it and, you know, see what it does. Alright, I'm back. So, talked to Mr. Rodney Bird again about what I found, and he had talked to me about that inside there for the neutral safety switch. That plastic is supposed to be all the way on there, and it is not. So I am going to have to go ahead and take all this apart and we'll out and see what we can find out. Alright, so we got the valve body out, and I didn't drop my spring, and everything in here seems really clean. The filter I was looking at has a couple of teeny tiny little specks, you know, glittery specks on it. They already got it out, so I might as well put a new one in. So here apparently is the culprit. This little dude right here. That piece of plastic is supposed to go on around there, and well, that's missing. So I already went in and ordered a new one. Thank you, Mr. Bird, for the link to that. And I don't know where the other one went. And I mean the missing piece. And I looked in the pan here. I didn't see it. Go fishing here. I didn't feel it the first time I was fishing in here. And I still don't feel it. So I'm not sure where in the world it could be, unless it was already missing and the other guy that I got the transmission from just dealt with it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I am not finding that other piece anywhere in here at all. So I'm somewhat perplexed. And it's not in the transmission case in there. I looked all around in there. It's not in there anywhere. I have no idea. So that, I guess he would have had to have just put it in there like that. I don't know. This, like I said, I did not do that. I would not ever do that. That is crazy. I will get a new gasket and we'll just start from scratch on that. So, well, that's where it is. I mean, I ain't going to get the part until next week. And until I do get that part, I'm pretty well dead in the water. So, I figure what I will do is I'll clean everything up as best as I can. And I'll just put this pan up on there with a couple of bolts, you know, so that I don't get any trash, dust, whatever up in my transmission. And I will put all my bolts and stuff in a bag. I'll put this in a bag, keep it all covered up. And then whenever my part comes in, we will continue. So until then, do me a favor. If you ain't subscribed, go ahead and do that. Leave me a thumbs up, thumbs down, say, hey dummy, you ain't no transmission guy. And I'll tell you, you are correct. I ain't no transmission guy. Rodney Bird is. Because I wouldn't know what I was looking for. But anyway, till next time, y'all keep watching. I'm going to keep working.